We are Black Hawks. We are Florida.
Another gorgeous night here in South Florida. The roof is wide open. The Marlins and the Reds ready for Game 2. The Fish lost to the Reds last night. The Reds are hot. They've won 4 in a row and 8 of 10. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. Hi, everyone. Welcome to an evening of baseball here in Miami. The struggles that the Marlins have had, I guess one way to give a great example is Mike Redmond sitting in his desk today, getting ready to make up his lineup.
Pretty amazing. The first time all year that Mike Redmond has filled out the lineup card, and with the exception of Alex CIN AT MIA, the pitcher, everybody else is the same. Positions and positions in the batting order. How about that?
And Derek Dietrich, the rookie, who's been in the big leagues for about a week, finds himself hitting third, and he sure looked comfortable doing it last night.
You and I have talked about it a lot. Derek Dietrich sure does not look like a 23-year-old getting ready to play his 5th Major League game. He has a solid approach. He gets his work done before the game. If you watch him take his ground balls, you watch him in the batting cage, he gets everything done. He was 2 for 4 with an RBI last night, coming off a Double-A season where he was hitting in the 280s and had 4 home runs and 16 RBIs. You just watch him and you say to yourself, this kid knows how to play the game.
I think the Marlins are going to have to watch Alex CIN AT MIA very closely tonight. CIN AT MIA makes the start. And remember, in his last start, he left after tweaking his groin. And that's of concern. You send a starting pitcher out there with a little bit of a question mark.
Yeah, we've talked to him in between starts, and he tells us that he's okay, that it was just a tweak and he's fine. But he gave up 9 hits and 4 runs in that 4 1/3. The thing where he's really gotten hurt this year, he's allowed 70 base runners in his 39 innings between hits, between hit batters, and walks. So he has to really cut that down.
Here's your starters, brought to you by Coventry Healthcare of Florida. Mike Leake at 2-2.
Yeah, Mike Leake will give you cutters, some curveballs and sliders and a changeup. And, of course, Alex has that fastball, and his slider's his second best pitch.
Yeah, the Marlins trying to bounce back last night. The Reds got on base. Brandon Phillips knocked them in. That's kind of how the Reds have been winning ball games lately this year. And, of course, they have one of the best pure hitters in the game in the middle of that lineup. When we get back, Jeff Conine will break down what makes Joey Votto go. bullpen, on his way to the dugout, on his way to face the Cincinnati Reds tonight. Let's head out to center field. Jeff Conine, Craig Minervini.
All right, Rich, thank you very much, and good evening again, everybody. Alex Tsunami is going to have to deal with a very tough Cincinnati Red lineup, though Dusty Baker was lamenting to me before the game they haven't scored enough runs. You look at the runs, they lead the league in runs, but they haven't done enough. But one guy who you like to talk about because he's got such impressive numbers is Joey Votto. This year, so far, not in the home run RBI department as much, though.
Yeah, you like to talk about him, but you don't like to face him because this guy is a machine at the plate. You look what he ranks right now in the National League, 6th in average, 2nd in on-base percentage, and the most impressive me, 1st in walks and 1st in pitches seen. That's numbers that when your power numbers aren't as good as they usually are, that's where he excels. And this got a chance to spend some time with him when he first got called up in 2007 when I was with the Cincinnati Reds, and you get to talking to him about how intelligent of a hitter he is, how knowledgeable about pitch selection. You see his balance out the plate is absolutely impeccable. I mean, you never see him take check swings. You never see him take off-balance swings. You saw him last night, 3-2 count. A really nasty pitch on full count with bases loaded.
Yeah,
you know, as a slider down and in, which usually at least it will elicit some type of a swing at it. He looked at it, took the walk, took the RBI.
I got the RBI. Can he be too selective, or no?
I don't think so, because this guy is so good at hitting the pitches that are mistakes that are in the strike zone. You see pitches seen, 770 pitches already this year, but when he gets one that he knows he can hit, he hits it. He just doesn't miss very often.
Number 3 in the lineup, and Tsunami will have to deal with him and a tough Cincinnati Red club that's hot. They are season best, 7 games, over 500. Marlins trying to get their first victory here on the homestand, their 2nd game. Got it all coming up for you next here on Fox Sports Florida. We'll see you for the post game.
Places by AT&T U-verse TV. Check availability, 1-800-PICK AT&T. Rethink possible. By Just for Men Auto Stop, the foolproof way to get rid of gray. And by Checkers. V-Star. It's Alex Sanabia's night tonight. He takes the hill, he takes the ball, and he's ready to go. The Marlins and the Reds from Marlins Park. This big red machine looks this way tonight. Shin Soo Choo is an on-base machine and a great leadoff hitter. Cesar Izturis at short. Joey Votto's at first. Brandon Phillips hits cleanup. 33 RBIs. Right field, Jay Bruce, a night off last night. Back in there tonight. Xavier Paul, Jack Hanahan, Devin Mesoraco.
behind the plate, and Mike Leake is on the mound.
All right, there he is, Alex Sanabia. All eyes tuned in from Chula Vista to check in on Alex, who had to leave that game after 4 1/3 in San Diego in front of a lot of friends and family.
Pitch a penny brings you the first pitch. Sanabia's pitch is up. The Marlins have had real problems with Shin-Soo Choo. And he takes outside. This is his 6th game against the Fish. His numbers against the Marlins just eye-popping this year. First of all, he's walked 5 times. The Marlins have hit him 3 times. He's 8 for 14, and he's scored 7 runs. But it's not just the Marlins he's been doing this damage against.
Well, he's been doing a lot of damage. He leads the National League in on-base percentage.
And guess what?
Wow.
Choo smacks one into center field. Ruggiano over to cut it off. And the Reds are in business here in the 1st inning. Marlins defensively tonight, just like last night, presented by the Cleveland Clinic, Florida.
Yeah, there you go with JP and Justin Ruggiano and Marcelo Zuna in the outfield. Polanco and Echeverria, who continues to be solid at shortstop. Derek Dietrich has made all the plays at second. Dobbs over at first, and what a nice throw last night from Rob Brantley.
Now is Turris, the switch hitter, takes outside. Is Turris in the 2 spot. Last night, Dusty Baker had Zach Cozart at short. Cozart has struggled a bit offensively this year. Not that his Turris is tearing it up. Always known for his defense. Versatility now. Can play just about anywhere on the infield. Veteran. So he adds that guy who Baker can plug in and know that he's been there and done that. This is his 13th big league season.
He's got a guy fits in nicely with a Dusty Baker type team. He's versatile, as you pointed out. He's a switch hitter.
Here's the challenge for Alex Sanabia tonight. Sanabia has walked 20 in his 39 innings. The Reds, as Jeff Conine pointed out, walk a lot, and their .334 on base percentage is tops in the National League.
And trust me, when you're pitching to a 156 hitter who doesn't play all that much, you don't go 3-0 because you have the big boppers following.
Said boppers are Votto, Phillips, and tonight, Jay Bruce. He walks him. And so obviously not a good sign right out of the chute for Miami.
Well, we talked about all the base runners, and there's every pitch missed away to his Turris. All the base runners that have gotten on against Alex Sanabia. So let's put it this way. He hasn't gotten an out yet. So in 39 innings, there have been 72 base runners he's had to deal with when you add up the base hits, the walks, and the hit batters.
Well, here's Votto. And Votto himself has done a lot of damage against Miami. Big swing and a miss. Going after a first pitch fastball. And the count's 0-1. Votto 3 for 4 last night. Cracked 3 singles and drove in a run.
You know, you have someone, Rich, who has that just powerful stuff, 95, 96 mile an hour fastball. You can get away with a little wildness, but Alex Sanabia, for him to have success here, he has to have pinpoint control.
And especially against a guy like Votto, who, as Jeff Conine illustrated, rarely chases anything out of the zone and is so good at hitting mistakes. And Sanabia missing out, and it's 2-1. Of concern for the Marlins and Mike Redmond, that right groin. One of the reasons is last night Wade LeBlanc worked 2 innings, and LeBlanc is kind of the long man in the Marlins pen. Votto goes after the 2-1 fastball and hits it in the air. Pierre over. Choo is tagging. Pierre makes the catch. Choo is coming. The throw from Pierre. He stops. A great throw, and he gets back to second. That may be the best throw Juan Pierre has made in some time, because Choo was fully confident he could get to third until he saw it leave his hand.
Yeah, it was really interesting watching the base runners because Izturis was watching Choo. and he was headed to second base. There's the brakes that Chu put on when he saw that throw coming to third base. And alertly, Izturis did the same thing, or they would have both ended up at second base.
That is a big out to get for Sanabia, especially on a 2-1 pitch to Votto. And so here now is Phillips. A couple RBIs last night, and Phillips continues to have a terrific year. He's tops in the National League in runs driven in. Troy Tulowitzki at 32, Paul Goldschmidt at 31 coming into play today.
Well, one of the reasons Brandon Phillips has done such a great job with runners in scoring position, he's hitting .500 with less than 2 out and runners in scoring position.
Wait, look at that list. Alan Craig, John Buck, Paul Goldschmidt. Some guys having big years, and Phillips hits one to left field and hits it deep. Pierre to the track at the wall. He leaps and can't make the catch. It's off his glove. Chu around. Izturis stops at third. And the Reds only get 1 run out of a ball that was hit 386 feet. That's a real break for Miami. And I think if Cesar Izturis had to do it over again, obviously he'd been a little more aggressive.
You know, you're a base runner and you have to go. There's a breaking ball that's just flat middle of the plate. At this point, you think Juan Pierre is going to make the catch. It did go off his glove. So Izturis had to kind of hold his ground, and then Chris Spire, the third base coach, held him at third base.
Now Jay Bruce. So the Reds have a run. Phillips has another RBI, 34. Bruce had a real nice series against Milwaukee. Pops this one, third base side. Polanco as far as he can get it. It's out of his glove. Wow. He had just enough room to reach and get a glove on it, but he couldn't hold it.
You know, he did everything right. Gets there, braces himself, reaches, had it for a moment, and then it just came out of the glove. Just off the end.
There's the changeup, and Sanabia gets a strikeout. That's the bread and butter. If he can throw his fastball for strikes, then that changeup comes into play.
And the key was what you said first, when he throws that fastball for strikes and gets ahead. We've also seen Alex use that changeup behind in the count because it's a good one.
Xavier Paul now. Paul in left field for the Reds. Cincinnati at 23-16 coming in. 4 wins in a row, 8 of their last 10. Still 2.5 behind St. Louis in the Central. The Cardinals had won 2 in a row going into play tonight. St. Louis tonight is home against the Mets.
This is a run-scoring team. With the 1 run they have scored so far here, they're tied with the Rockies now. 187 runs, most in the National League.
Up in the seats. And Sanabia now ahead at 0-2, and now certainly in a situation where that changeup becomes more effective. Dusty Baker, remember the Reds last year finished 9 games ahead of the Cardinals and won the Central.
Dusty going dual wristbands tonight.
Oh yeah.
He does that a lot.
And if it's cold, batting gloves. And the trademark toothpick. So Paul climbs back in. He drove in 3 last night with a bases loaded double. And Sanabia tries the change, and it floats outside. It's 1.
Great American Ballpark.
That was a 2-2 game going into the bottom of the 7th. And then it all kind of fell apart. Good block by Brantley.
Yeah, Sanabia in that game went 6 innings. Gave up 6 hits and 5 runs. But again, the walks hurt him. He walked 5. There's the line for that game.
He's 2-2 on Xavier Paul, the Reds left fielder, in Cincinnati off to a 1-0 start and looking for more. Two, and it's foul. Now the Reds, when the Marlins saw them, were scuffling a bit, but this run has propelled them up the ladder in the Central. The Pirates are 3.5 back. Milwaukee is 5 under, and the Cubs in the basement of the Central 9.5 back. Sanabia is already 23 pitches into this thing. His ball strike ratio, not a thing of beauty. There's a look at Jack Hanahan on deck.
I remember last night, Ricky Nolasco threw 30 pitches in that first inning.
Remember, the Reds only got 1 run in that first inning, but that really set the tone for the rest of the night. And Sanabia loses him. So a pair of walks for Sanabia, bags filled with Reds, and here is Jack Hanahan, the former Cleveland Indian.
Well, Hanahan's got a little playing time. He's had 4 starts. They've all been at third base. That's where he is tonight.
Hanahan, always known for his glove. University of Minnesota product. Oakland, Seattle, Detroit. He can play either corner spot, either at third base or first base. And Sanabia misses in. One to 0. As we noted, Wade LeBlanc worked last night. He worked 2 innings. So if Sanabia has a short start, Mike Redmond really is going to have to piece it together. Hanahan lines it foul. But a couple walks, a couple of hits. Bases filled with Reds. And again, if Sanabia can get out of this and give up just the 1 run, he's got to feel good about it. Challenges with his fastball, 93 on the fastball.
It's a good fastball, and that's it. All goes down to command. His fastball is good enough. His changeup is good enough. Command and confidence.
Broken bat, roller to third, Polanco to second, in time to get the out. Dietrich covering. So the Reds only get the 1 run, and they leave them loaded in the first. Reds on top. It's the bottom of the first in Miami. And the Fish at 11-28 will bring this lineup to the plate. Juan Pierre, Placido Polanco, and the youngster Derek Dietrich, Marcelo Zuna, Justin Ruggiano, Greg Dobbs, Adeiny Echeverria, Rob Brantley, and Alex Sanabia, a pair of pitchers from the San Diego area. Sanabia from Chula Vista, Mike Leake from Fallbrook, California. And Leake gets the start tonight for the Reds.
Fallbrook, California, went to Fallbrook High School. And Fallbrook, California, known for two things: Hall of Famer Duke Snyder and avocados.
And hopefully Mike Leake.
Where else can you get that kind of information?
That's top flight stuff.
Well, Leake is a guy that, in talking to Chris Welch, who does the games for the Reds on television, talked a little bit with Jeff Brantley on radio, and former pitchers. They said Leake at times will throw too many cutters, and that gets him in trouble. But has good stuff with the fastball and slider and curveball, good changeup.
Pierre's ground ball finds Joey Votto, who's so good at first base. Votto won a Gold Glove a couple of years ago when he was healthy. And here's the rest of the Reds defensively.
Yeah, Dusty Baker's made a couple changes tonight. Defense brought to you by Cleveland Clinic. Xavier Paul and Chu in the outfield. Jay Bruce back in there, had a couple of days off. Hanahan at third, Istura. So left side is a little different. Phillips and Votto, no change there. And Devin Mesoraco, the young man behind the plate. So there is a change there.
Now Polanco in the 2 spot, and as the Marlins get bodies back, a Logan Morrison, whenever Giancarlo Stanton comes back, you're going to see Polanco in a spot like this in the order, in the 2 spot or slid down, say 7th, 6th. He's been occupying the 3 spot, and of course when Stanton was healthy, Polanco even hit cleanup at times. And he has that one clip his bat, a strike for Leake, and it's 0-2.
Mike Leake has only had one career start against the Marlins a few years ago, 2010.
That one hit him. It did. You could hear it clip the jersey, and that's a break for Polanco. He's behind in the count, 0-2, and Leake came in and got him.
Yeah, Leake was trying to go in with a fastball, something hard inside. There's the target, and it looked like it just clipped his jersey. Look at the jersey. There it is.
Super slow-mo shows there was movement. You wonder if in 5-10 years, when replay is in the game in terms of calls, if a call like that would be reviewable. Here's the pitch to Dietrich. Next year, Major League Baseball has said there will be increased usage of replay. They haven't decided how much or how, but they're working on it. Dietrich climbs in, 6 for 15 so far in his big league career. And that pitch is taken inside. In fact, during the World Baseball Classic here in Miami, Major League Baseball had a lot of technology and a lot of cameras that weren't used for the telecast, but were used for them to study instant replay and how they might implement it. Polanco's at first. 1-1 in.
I would say on that hit pitch, no. Then you're just taking it a little bit too far.
Well, that's why I asked.
Okay. I gave you my answer.
5-10 years down the road?
No.
You never know. Dietrich, a sweet swing from the left side. And of course, last night, and if you've read anything about Dietrich, you know his grandfather helped forge that swing and advised everyone, hey, the kid's swinging left-handed, throws right-handed, just leave him the way he is. Counts 2 balls and 2 strikes. He has a little bit of Logan Morrison in him. When you look at him from the side swing.
It's a good call.
Which is as sweet as Morrison's swing is, which is a good thing. Boy, it would be nice to see them both in the same lineup. And by all accounts, Morrison's rehab is going well. 2-2 coming. There's that cutter that kind of drifts back over the plate and gets Dietrich.
Yeah, it's a pitch that as a left-handed hitter, you sometimes give up on it because it starts off the plate and then right at the last minute comes in and catches the corner.
Rand Eye Institute brings you.
There you see that movement right at the end.
Fox track.
You know, the game that Leake pitched against the Marlins back in 2010, he gave up 3 runs. Gave up 2 home runs in that game. Dan Uggla and Wes Helms.
Breaking ball, a strike to Ozuna.
Let's see what the scouting report has for Mike Leake. Cutters to lefty, he'll throw them in, and then as we saw, backdoor once in a while. Change up, has some sink to it. Outstanding hitter, one of the best hitters in the game.
Misses away to Ozuna. So Ozuna hitting at an even 300 after an 0 for 4 last night. Still with 5 doubles and a homer. As young a 3-4 combination you'll find in the big leagues in both age, 22 and 23, and experience. I mean, together you're talking about what, 20 games or so in the big leagues?
Yeah, this is game number 5 for Dietrich.
Ozuna takes outside, and for Ozuna it's game number 14. And the hope is obviously that it pays off down the line, that the game experience they're receiving will only accelerate their progress. He went around and Mesoraco picks it up. A throw down to first is in time. And so Leake strikes out that young combo of Dietrich and Ozuna to get out of the first. By H.H. Craig. Tony Siragusa? Devin Mesoraco, Mike Leake, Shin Soo Choo for the Reds of Cincinnati. One of the, if not the oldest baseball organizations in Major League Baseball. You got to go all the way back to what, 1869-ish? Back when the Reds were first formed. Actually 1876, my bad. They were 9-56 that year in the National League.
Well, that was a rough year.
It was.
Well, I like some of the names that Mike Hill was talking about last night, growing up in Cincinnati when he was a Reds fan.
Mesoraco drills one to center. Ruggiano is on it, and he makes the catch. Ruggiano goes back on a ball as well as any center fielder you'll find. He is terrific with routes, with instincts, and he made a nice catch there at the track.
You know, he does everything that is needed for an outfielder to be a good outfielder. He positions himself in the right place, number one, gets good jumps, takes good routes, has nice hands, has a strong arm, too. Yeah, Mike Hill talking about the Eric Davis and Chris Sabo, Jose Rio.
That one flipped foul and out of play. Leak, as you pointed out, a really good hitting pitcher. In fact, no one in baseball since Leak has been in the league has more hits as a pitcher. Even Carlos Zambrano, and Zambrano
might get a chance.
Yeah, the Phillies taking a flyer on Zambrano today.
Yeah, Leak last year hit .295. Look at that career average, 276. 2010, he hit .333.
Pop up and over for it is Dietrich. Wind is swirling, and Dietrich is there and makes the catch. So 2 outs here. Marlins.com, your one-stop shop for breaking news, tickets, sweepstakes, merchandise, and more. Check out the new Marlins Park seat views for an interactive 360-degree experience from anywhere in the ballpark. And you can pick out your seats, purchase tickets. It's never been faster or more convenient. Go to Marlins.com today. Well, here is Chu, and he continues to be a real headache for Miami. Now, Chu, 9 hits against the Marlins. This is game number 6. As we pointed out, the Marlins have hit him a bunch. They've walked him a bunch.
It's an interesting trade the Reds made to acquire Chu. They traded Drew Stubbs, terrific center fielder, just strikes out way too much, and also a young shortstop, Didi Gregorius, who the Indians then traded to Arizona. We'll see him this weekend.
The interesting thing about the flip with Chu and Stubbs is they're almost exact opposites.
Yeah.
What they can do. I mean, Chu has another hit, and he's aboard at first. Chu is an on-base machine and a very good offensive player. Whether he can play center field, well, that was a question coming into the season. We knew that Stubbs was able to do that.
Yeah, and I think with Chu, it's certainly not a problem defensively for him at Great American Ballpark. It's a much smaller park. Park like this, if he played a lot of home games, if he were here, it'd give him a little more trouble. But you know what? You'll put up with that for the way he gets on base.
He really is. I mean, if
you're looking at Drew Stubbs or Shin-Soo Choo, there's no question who you take. Even though Stubbs is a much better center fielder.
Especially in that, as you say, you play half your games in that ballpark. Is Turris walked, and he sends one out to center field. Ruggiano is there, and Justin Ruggiano makes the catch. Well, Sanavia works a scoreless second, 11 pitches. You can bowl with the stars. Cliff Floyd's got a celebrity bowling tournament. Look at how excited they are about that. It's presented by Fox Sports Florida. Now you can bowl with Cliff or other former Major League players, and the Fox Sports Florida girls will be there on the 19th of May. It's an afternoon of food, fun, and bowling. A portion of the proceeds go to Nova Southeastern University, Sports Recreation Management Scholarships, and Handy, an organization that helps neglected and disadvantaged youth. Pencils ready, everybody. For information, go to CFF30.com. CFF30.com. Ruggiano fouls it at the plate. Justin Ruggiano here the second with Greg Dobbs and Danny Echeverria to follow against Mike Leake.
Right-handed hitters file it away. Throws changeup to a righty. A lot of right-handers kind of save that to left-handed hitters, but that strike before that breaking ball was a changeup.
Leake with a real fascinating timeline to get to the big leagues. I mean, he went right to the big leagues. He's pitched in just 2 games in the minor leagues.
So out of Arizona State, right to Cincinnati. From the Pac-10 to the National League Central.
He dominated there. He was 16-1 with a 1.71 ERA his last year at Arizona State. And Pat Murphy, who was the head coach there at the time, felt he was his best defensive shortstop and third baseman had he chosen to put him there. He walks Ruggiano, and Greg Dobbs will come to the plate with the Reds up 1-0. This copyrighted telecast presented by the Authority. The Marlins may not be reproduced, retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins.
There's a really interesting list of guys. Leake was the 21st guy to go from being drafted directly to the major leagues. Some had very successful careers. Dave Winfield, a Hall of Fame career.
John Olerud with the Toronto Blue Jays and then the Seattle Mariners.
Jim Abbott.
Some not so much, though.
But the one guy, there are a couple guys that stand out. It would certainly have to be mentioned. I certainly have to mention Dick Ruthven out of Fresno State.
Well, he's your brother-in-law.
My brother-in-law, so we certainly have to mention him. But the other name that's interesting is a guy who was also at Arizona State, Eddie Bain, a little left-hander who probably before Leake was just as outstanding at ASU.
Well, Leake has gone 0-2 on Dobbs. Remember when Charlie Finley decided to make a splash, drafting Mike Morgan, sending him right to the big leagues.
They tried that big splash with the high schooler David Clyde in Texas. It didn't quite work that way.
No. Ruggiano's at first. 0-2 coming. Liner into left field and a base hit. And that has to feel good for Greg Dobbs, who had really been scuffling with his average down to 202. And Miami has something going here in the second inning.
Those are the kind of Dobbs swings that we saw so much of when he was in there as a part-time player, when he was in there coming off the bench in a pinch hitting role. That's his swing. That's the way he gets base hits. Another name, Rich, on that list, a very successful attorney up my way and a guy I've known for a long time, Pete Broberg.
And that list we're talking about with a guy like Mike Leake is going straight from college or even high school and going right to the big leagues. Echeverria takes a strike.
I like the way Etch last few games got a little hitting streak going, 4 for 10 last 3 games, has driven a lot of balls well to right center.
Pulls that one to third, scooped by Hanahan, turned by Phillips, and the Reds get a double play. So that wipes out a pair of Marlins. It keeps Ruggiano at third base, and that brings up Brantley, but you've got first base open and the pitcher on deck.
Yeah, this is frustrating because Echeverria hits this ball hard, but off the line is Hanahan. He picks it, and he got it so quickly. And once he turned it over to Brandon Phillips, Brandon Phillips can make that play in his sleep.
Yeah, Brandon Phillips, 3 Gold Gloves. And a breaking ball misses outside to Brantley. Brandon Phillips did not win a Gold Glove last year. Brantley cranks that one foul. The Gold Glove winner at second base in the National League, Darwin Barney. Brandon Phillips was a runner-up last year for that Gold Glove. Look for the windup. 1-1 pitch. Brantley takes outside.
Darwin Barney only made, what, 2 or 3 errors?
Made just 2.
Yeah.
Darwin Barney's a terrific defensive second baseman. So he snapped that run of Brandon Phillips at 3. Leake has the luxury of trying to make perfect pitches here with Sanabia on deck.
It's always one of the perils, the tough part of being a number 8 hitter in the National League.
Breaking ball, and Leake did make a perfect pitch. Kind of a back foot breaking ball that Brantley swings over. Well, the Marlins have had base runners so far, but no runs. Marlins Park tonight with the roof open, the rolling windows are open. This is what, the 10th time the Marlins have had the roof open this year. It's been terrific weather-wise in April and here into May. And the Fish trying to beat the Reds, something that few people have been able to do over the last couple of weeks. Cincinnati have gone on a nice run where they've won 8 of 10, including 4 in a row. Alex Sanabia survived a first. He left the bases loaded, gave up the 1 run. He gets Joey Votto, Brandon Phillips, Jay Bruce here in the 3rd inning.
Here's the challenge. Actually, that's a good first pitch to start it. Last inning, of course, the bottom part of the order before it got to Chu, I thought Sanabia was much more aggressive. And he may have been told that by Chuck Hernandez. Now, to be aggressive to this group coming up is a little different story, but that's the way he has to pitch.
He was able to get Votto out on a 2-1 fastball. Votto hit a fly ball to left. That was before the Brandon Phillips RBI double. And remember, on that Phillips RBI double, Cesar Izturis probably should have scored. He was at first, and the ball was off Pierre's glove at the wall in left center field. That's strike 3 called. And Votto rarely gets caught looking, but he does here to open up the 3rd inning.
You know what? The best part about that aggressiveness there is that, okay, 0-2. He didn't try to waste something and all of a sudden take it to 2-2 or 3-2. He threw that good moving fastball. Votto thought it was high, but it got the strike zone. Good pitch. Just got the tip of it.
Now Brandon Phillips, who now has driven in 3 runs in this series. RBI double in the 1st.
Aggressive right after him. I guarantee he was told that by Mike Redmond and his pitching coach Chuck Hernandez.
Yeah, because in that 1st inning, he threw a slew of pitches and walked a pair, gave up a couple of hits. Phillips, of course, a great football player, great basketball player growing up in Georgia. Was originally offered scholarships for both sports to the University of Georgia. And if you know your baseball history, you know that he was involved in one of the more lopsided trades in history, coming from the Expos organization. With a couple of, pretty good guys, average players for Bartolo Colon, Grady Sizemore, Cliff Lee.
Not too bad.
No. And the funny thing was, the Indians who made that trade didn't have a place for Phillips. He never really stuck there. And finally was traded to the Reds. And the Reds got a steal when they got Brandon Phillips. And here is Phillips, who signed a 6-year, $72 million contract. He's 31, and he's made a really nice impact in Cincinnati. So much so that Cholula decided to bring on the Cholula hot sauce spotlight player. Born in Raleigh, Stone Mountain, Georgia. His sister plays in the WNBA.
And a very, Brandon is, active tweeter.
Into left field, that's a base hit. 2 hits for Brandon Phillips.
Here's one of the differences in Alex Sanabi. In the 1st inning, threw 14 strikes and 14 balls. Since that time, he's thrown 15 strikes and 5 balls.
Matt Latos, Jose Fernandez.
That's a good matchup tomorrow.
It's a great matchup tomorrow. Jay Bruce, a strikeout victim back in the 1st. Got the night off last night, and that was his 1st night off all season long. Pitch in the dirt. Tommy, on the previous pitch, watch Rob Brantley. This is something a young catcher has to be aware of. Watch his mask. If the mask touches the baseball, it's a dead ball and the runner advances. You cannot use anything other than your glove to touch a ball.
Even if it's accidental that way?
Yep.
Because I know every once in a while, and we've seen it, where a catcher will take the mask off and then kind of scoop the ball back with the mask. That's a no-no.
That's a no-no.
Yeah.
That's like as a fielder, you cannot throw your glove at a ball. Well, you can, but I believe that's 2 bases. 3-0 pitch. And a strike to Sanabia.
Remember, it was Brandon Phillips, who's at first base now, who Rob Brantley threw out last night.
Well, that's a great player right there, number 22, coaching first base, Billy Hatcher. Off-speed pitch rolled up the first baseline.
And I know, Rich, you were more of, there's Billy Hatcher, and on the other side, the other coach for the Reds on the bases, a guy that you might not have seen as much at, because you were an athletics guy.
Oh,
but, playing in the Bay for the Giants, solid shortstop Chris Spire.
My dad would take me to Candlestick. I saw McCovey and Mays as a real young kid, and Spire was the all-star shortstop, I believe, for 3 years in the mid-70s. Hit hard, and that's fair, and that's trouble, and down the line it goes. Ozuna to get it. You've got speed with Phillips to third. He'll be held there. The throw from Ozuna is cut. Throw back to second. Back in is Bruce. And there again is the arm of Marcell Ozuna. That's a great job of scouting by the man we were just talking about, Chris Spire at third base. He saw that throw in Los Angeles. And Ozuna from the corner with a great throw.
Yeah, and it wasn't that this throw was going to go to the plate, but it got so quickly to the cutoff man. And again, not only have we seen Ozuna make strong throws to get runners, I love the way Phillips rounded the bag, too. He's thinking that he's going to score, but he's hit the cutoff man every time.
Sanabia with a runner come home. Brantley in a rundown. Phillips on his way back to third, and Brantley falls over him, dives after him. Out is Phillips. Brantley somehow got him in that two-car pileup between third and home. An adventurous out. The result is that the runner ends up out at second base.
If he doesn't fall, it would have been interesting. He may have had a play at second. Heads up play by Sanabia, and also by Brantley to get Phillips going back to third. Now the tag and the stumble, that allowed the runner, Xavier Paul, who hit the ball, to get to second base.
Well, C.B. Buckner was right there.
No argument from Phillips either.
Phillips almost with a little bit of a you could almost at the start of that play when Brantley went over him, it almost looked like Phillips' legs clipped him, and that sent Brantley head over heels. So Paul ends up at second, Bruce is at third, and now it's Hanahan.
And again, Alex Sanabia just needs to get one more out here, and he can wriggle out of this inning without giving up a run.
Boy, and again, that number that you gave at the start of the game, the number of total base runners continues to just skyrocket. Reds left 3 on in the first, another on in the second, and they've got 2 out there here in the third.
Yeah, they've had 7 base runners already, and we're in the third inning.
Changeup is low.
Yeah, he can make a pitch here. He has first base open, got the right-handed hitting Hanahan. No, Hanahan's a lefty. He got him on deck, but over his career, Sanabia has actually pitched a little better against lefties than righties. I got ahead of myself. I was looking at Mesoraco after Hanahan. See, Mike Redmond can't do that. As a manager, he has to be aware. You know, he was telling me the other day, I don't think I've ever heard a manager talk about this. One of the things he really wants to get across to Rob Brantley's young catcher is to always keep track, especially in the National League with double switches, keep track of where the pitcher is, where the pitcher's spot is in the order, because that may dictate how you pitch a certain hitter.
And in modern ballparks, all you got to do is look up at the scoreboard. It's that easy. Because the lineup is a interactive, up-to-the-minute lineup, not only with batting averages, but places in the order. Double switches and all that are always immediately reflected up on the scoreboard. There was a day and an age where that wasn't the case.
No, you had to file that away in your head. Then again, the scoreboards aren't always 100% too. And what are you going to do at Wrigley Field?
Broken bat. Echeverria goes to first and gets the out. And Sanabia leaves 3 more. The Reds have left 7 already.
The third inning, the Reds leading 1-0, and another example of the terrific arm we've seen from Marcell Ozuna, who's already had 3 assists this year. But as Tommy mentioned, plays like this that keep runners from taking the extra base. Even the reputation is getting around the league. And talking to Ozuna today, Jesse Phillips, a speedy guy, stopped over at third base. Got called Crawford the other day going in the third base. But talking to Marcell today, he mentioned how he worked on this in the Dominican Republic, worked on throwing the ball, credited Tarek Brock, Marlins outfield coach in the minor league system, and Andre Dawson. He said, Dawson taught me not to go around the ball, but to come up square. One other thing he told me, he said he asked John Rauch and Cishek today, how do you keep the ball straighter? And they told him today, actually, to put the ball like this with the seams kind of on the right side, just like that. And he said that might give it a little giddy up. He wanted to keep it rising rather than falling. And he said now he's going to really work on when he gets the ball, even in a quick motion, to move his hand to grip the ball just like that. And he thinks it's going to stay even straighter. He said that was the problem on the last road trip. A couple just tailed away from him on plays at the plate. He thinks by holding the ball just like this, it's going to help him a lot. Guys?
Yeah, it's good stuff. If you can get across the seams as a kid and force seam it from the outfield, even infielders, sometimes infielders don't have as much time. But you don't want to two-seam it because the ball's going to move a little too much.
Catchers try very hard to get that four-seam grip. Sanabia swings and misses. Mike Leake opens the third with his 4th strikeout already. And Juan Pierre will come up.
I don't know if I would have gone to Steve Cishek, though, to find out how to throw a ball straight.
Pierre fouls that one at the plate. And the count's 0-1. JP is 0 for 1. Last year, Leake in the rotation for 30 starts. He was 8-9 and an ERA of 4.5. Up the middle, Phillips. That is a Gold Glover. Wow.
You know what? He didn't dive. He didn't have to get dirty on that. It probably won't make a top 10 of best plays, but this is a terrific play because he knew he had Juan Pierre, the runner. He knew he had to pick it cleanly, and he knew he had to make a perfect throw.
Now Polanco hit by a pitch in the first. Leake's given up a walk. He's given up a hit. And that's it. His night very, very different than the night of Alex Sanabia.
Well, Sanabia in his 3 innings has thrown 62 pitches.
Leake, little hesitation, and maybe that slowed down Jack Hanahan. Polanco's got himself an infield hit.
I think Hanahan may have called for it because it looked like Leake was going to go over and make the play, and then he peeled away. That's when he got out of the way. I think he heard Hanahan calling for it, but then Hanahan couldn't find the handle, couldn't make the play. Yeah, you can hear him yelling.
That brings Dietrich to the plate with a runner at first. Dietrich reporting to us that everybody back in Cleveland was able to watch the game last night. They hooked up their computer to the TV. MLB.TV worked just fine.
See, you have to show me how to do that.
I can do that. And DirecTV, he said, was on the job as well. So by now, the folks all around the Dietrich household are able to watch the games and enjoy swings like that.
And enjoy base hit after base hit.
And they didn't have to pay extra for that, Tommy. They just signed up for extra innings, and they're getting line drive hits. He had 2 last night. He's got a hit here.
That cutter tried to get in, but he was able to shorten things up, quick to it, and gets a base hit, extends a little hitting streak now, 5 straight for Dietrich.
It's a great example of a young hitter making an adjustment. Remember the cutter they got him for called strike 3 in his first at bat. Got a very similar pitch. Here's Ozuna. He struck out back in the first. That's another tapper. Same spot, same result. Everybody's safe. Well, it's been a tough inning for Jack Hanahan. 2 balls that you couldn't have rolled out there any better.
Yeah, really interesting inning. You have 2 swinging bunts, and really the ball Dietrich hit may have gotten in on him a little, jammed him, so he didn't hit it squarely.
Did you see that?
And all of a sudden, with 2 out, bases loaded.
Leake was actually pointing to Hanahan to go to third, and Leake was going to try to get the out at third.
That was the shortstop in him.
Yeah,
coming out.
So Miami set up now. The bag's loaded, but there are 2 outs, and here's Ruggiano. Leake misses outside. Ruggiano 7 homers. That leads the ball club. 16 driven in. That leads the Marlins.
Almost a third of the team's home runs. You mentioned 7 for Ruggiano. The Marlins have hit 22 as a team.
And that's the highest percentage in baseball. Ruggiano to right field towards the line. Bruce is there, and he makes the catch. Mike Leake leaves him loaded. 3 are in the books here in Miami. 1-0 Reds. Are going strong. That is a cool, refreshing drink, Tommy Hunt. Wouldn't that be nice up here? Keep that in mind. The Marlins and the Reds tomorrow night, Thursday. Visit your local Subway restaurant. Get a voucher for a discounted $5 ticket. All seniors 55 and older can receive complimentary tickets on Senior Ticket Thursday. Presented by Wellmax Medical Centers.
Hold that fresh-looking drink for the fantasy auction when we're out at the Clevelander broadcasting.
And we're raising money for the kids.
For the kids.
Alex CIN AT MIA, 65th pitch coming up. The Reds have left 7. They've had opportunities. Leaks at the plate, and he gets around on one.
It's almost like if you're a pitcher, when you pitch to Mike Leake, you have to just say, okay, I'm pitching to another hitter.
A swing and a miss. Leake goes down. Camera 12 in full operation tonight. That is DJ Vertigo, Tommy. I know that you've had him at many of your gatherings.
I have that exact setup in my office.
Tommy's spring training gala. DJ Vertigo performed. Strike to Shin-Soo Choo. Now, we said at the outset of the telecast, he's just clobbered Miami, and all he's done is come out and line 2 singles in 2 at-bats. So by my count, 10 hits for Choo, and this is game number 6.
And CIN AT MIA still looking for that first 1, 2, 3 inning tonight.
CIN AT MIA either gives up a hit or he hits him. At least so far this year.
Boy, to his credit, he's battled tonight, Alex CIN AT MIA. He's worked out a jam after jam.
You talked about command and confidence being ingredients that he needs. There never has been a question about his guts. One and 2. Choo, left field, deep. Shin-Soo Choo. The Marlins just can't get him out. Into the Clevelander he goes. Big Choo. 8th home run. He's 3 for 3 tonight, and it's 2-0 Cincinnati.
Oppo Choo. You don't expect Choo to go to the opposite field in this ballpark, and he just did. That ball jumped off his bat.
It's a Clevelander home run in every sense of the word. I'll have one of those fruity liquor drinks and a home run ball, please.
Yeah, it's a 93-mile-an-hour fastball, up a little bit. And Choo took it in the pool.
It's amazing. He's now 4 for 4 against CIN AT MIA, and he's been hit twice. His tourist takes up. There's a liner and a base hit down the line. Pierre trying to cut it off, and he can't. His tourist thinking about third, but holds at second. I know leadoff hitters aren't often in the MVP discussion, and I know it's mid-May, but what the heck? If you're to name an MVP after a month and a half, would Choo be in your top 3?
Well,
top 5?
He'd have to be in the top 5 at least. You know, as a guy we haven't seen because the Marlins haven't played the Brewers yet, but John Segura is near the top in hitting. Carlos Gomez of the Brewers leading the league.
And of course, we've talked about Justin Upton. Upton leads in slugging percentage, leads in home runs, and put on a show against his old team, Arizona, this past week. But Chu has to be on that list. On base percentage, he's been in that top 10 as far as slugging percentage goes. Votto, who is 0 for 2. Sanabia with a changeup. Ball and a strike and an out and a runner at second.
He's made some pretty good pitches to Joey Votto. Remember when he struck him out looking in the third inning, he backed up a fastball on the inner part of the plate.
Votto trying to emphasize that left hand, taking his practice swings there with the left hand. And it looks like he's trying to activate that top hand.
Look also how he has choked up on the bat with 2 strikes. It's a look you don't see too much nowadays.
Votto inside outs that ball and dumps it into left field. Pierre up with it, easily scoring as his tourist. You could see Joey Votto making adjustments during that entire at bat. He was angry with the ball that he fouled off over the Marlins dugout third base side. A few tweaks.
Boy, inside out pitch was a pretty good pitch. Sanabia tried to get him on that pitch he struck him out on. But this time, Votto reacts short and quick. Yeah, why don't more guys do that nowadays? Shorten up on the bat with 2 strikes. I know he's on the other team, but that's the way you do it.
Absolutely. I mean, without a doubt. And here it's Phillips. And all the runs and runners that Sanabia has been dodging here in the first 3 innings. Things starting to break through for the Reds. A 3-0 lead. And Phillips has 2 hits, RBI double and a single.
Boy, 80 pitches too already for Sanabia.
And again, for the Marlins, with LeBlanc throwing yesterday after Nolasco's 5 innings. Marlins bullpen, if Sanabia does last just the 5 innings, of course he has to get out of this one to get to the 5th. But at 81 pitches, he needs to get some outs. And Chuck Hernandez thinking right along those lines, getting the bullpen up. Phillips off the end of the bat, a slow roller out there. Dietrich's turn is close. He got him. Wow. Phillips doesn't believe it. But Dietrich with a quick turn, and he got the double play. Most Dangerous tape room hard at work in downtown Miami. The Reds and the Marlins. Mike Leake now has a 3-0 lead. And Greg Dobbs is at the plate. Marlins getting a double play to finish off that fourth. Brandon Phillips. 6-4-3 double play. Dobbs hits a ground ball to second. And Phillips. Professional move by Phillips, Tommy. He really didn't bark and argue about the call at first base, but as we watch it again, you can see that Phillips beat the throw.
Yeah, I think you and I both thought he may have gotten there just ahead of the throw, which he did. His foot's on the bag, ball's not in the glove yet.
And Phillips knows it's a tough game to umpire.
But it's bang bang.
It is bang bang. Rather than throw the helmet and make a scene, a little smile and a word for Dale Scott went on his way.
And Dale Scott, a veteran umpire. He's been around the block a few times. He's made a few of those calls.
Yes. Umpired many a postseason. Dobbs out number one. Danny Echeverria up now. He bounced into a double play in the second. Miami had the bags loaded with 2 outs in the third. Echeverria to center. Chu a step back and now in. And he makes the catch.
I think if you talk to those who follow the Reds, they'll tell you that Chu's played a pretty good center field.
You know, he reminds you of a guy like Cody Ross, who doesn't have blazing speed, but has good instincts, and much like Ruggiano, good first step, good angles. And that goes a long way. It goes, sometimes that goes further than blazing speed. There have been guys with blazing speed that take awful angles and don't get great jumps, that don't cover as much ground. Ryan Webb in Miami's bullpen. Brantley a strikeout back in the second. And a flare to left, and it's going to nestle in for a hit. Xavier Paul picks it up. And so a 2-out hit for Rob Brantley. Major League Baseball on Fox returns this Saturday. This week, Rays and Orioles. It's a fine matchup. 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central. Fox Saturday Baseball.
How about the start that Rays left-hander Matt Moore is off to? Won his 7th game. He's 7-0. Beat Boston last night.
Sanabia back to the mound. You can see how good Leake is defensively. He pounced on that ball. And Miami leads Brantley at first. 3-0 Reds. Marlins baseball on Fox Sports Florida, brought to you by After Earth in theaters May 31st. By Honda. Visit your Honda dealer for great lease and finance deals on fuel-efficient Hondas. And by Kaiser University, now offering degrees in sports management. Learn more at kaiseruniversity.edu. In Miami tonight, the Reds and a couple of little guys entertaining tonight. Cincinnati winners last night by a score of 6-2. And now for the Just for Men Auto Stop Foolproof Stat. Runs per game since 2010. It's going in the Wayback Machine, but of course you got the Rockies. Cardinals are one of the surprising teams in there because the Brewers and the Reds play great offensive parts. So do the Diamondbacks. Jay Bruce has doubled and struck out. And Sanabia with a fastball gets a strike.
You think about the offensive things that go on at Coors Field. When I saw the game that Carlos Gonzalez had last night, I assumed it was at Coors Field. He was 5 for 5 with a couple of home runs. But it wasn't. It was at Wrigley.
Liner and Dietrich goes up together. An out here in the 5th.
Well timed, nice leaping ability. I'd give the landing a 10 too.
Oh, he was able to spin around.
He had good balance on that landing
and stuck it.
See, always when you make the catch, you're looking real serious. Then after the fact, you look over at the other infielders and you have to crack a smile a little bit.
A strike to Xavier Paul. Speaking of smiling, Bud Black has to be smiling on his way out of Baltimore as the Padres beat Baltimore again 8-4, and they did it with their smallest guys. Alexei Amarista went 3 for 5 with a 2-run homer. Everett Cabrera had 4 hits.
Yeah, Padres playing good ball.
And 8-4, San Diego beat the Baltimore Orioles.
Padres staying ahead of the Dodgers, keeping out of that cellar in the National League West.
John Baker had a big 2-run single in the 2nd inning. It was a sweep, but it was a 2-game series, but that's impressive to go into Baltimore. And the Marlins got a taste of it when they were in San Diego.
Can you call it a 2? I think we've discussed this before. Is a 2-game series a sweep, or is it just 2 in a row?
I'd go with 2 in a row.
Yeah, I think you have to have 3 for a sweep.
If each team gets one, I think you can call it a split. Yeah, that bottom of the lineup, Baker, Amarista, even Kyle Blanks.
Well, it's funny, a lot of teams in the big leagues, because you'll have teams traveling. Some will have off days tomorrow on Thursday. So quite a few teams played day games today.
To right, Ozuna has it under control. But Xavier Paul is out.
The day game of note, because they also do that in the minor leagues. Jacksonville played a day game today. And the reason we're telling you that is because Christian Yelich had 2 home runs and a double, and has gotten that batting average up to right around 326, 327.
So for those that are hopeful that it gets better here with the Marlins, I think you can certainly look to Yelich, who by all accounts, and even last night Michael Hill talking about it, is going to be a Marlin before too long. Because coming out of spring training, the word was if he tears up Double-A, he'll be here. And so here's Yelich Remember, he was the 23rd overall pick in 2010.
Yeah, his first 2 at-bats today, he homered.
Remember, he's only played 22 games.
Yeah, but Ozuna played less than that.
I know. and Marisnik has played less than that. All 3 of those guys were injured coming out of spring training. See, what the Marlins need is that, remember the year they had the split schedule, was it 81?
Yeah, 1981.
Because of a strike.
That was my last year as a player because of the strike.
Yeah. Did you last to the second half, or was it?
I lasted into the second half.
Out at first half. We'll explain what that means when we return. In the bottom of the 5th inning. Pinch hitting tonight. Tito and Cookie. Hi, guys.
Hey, how are you?
Tommy and Richie, how are you guys doing?
Hey, we're good. Tito, Cookie, good to see you.
Good to see you guys over there.
Nice to have you aboard, Tito.
Thank you very much. It is a pleasure to be here with you guys again.
Is this number 1 for you this year, Tito?
Yes, it is.
That's what I thought.
It is number 1, and it's a very special night. You guys know that, I lost my mom last year, precisely a year from ago, and this is a very big, big night for me here. Thank you, guys.
Good. Well, we're glad you're with us. Cookie, the Marlins have been challenged to score runs so far this year, and we were talking just about Christian Yelich moments ago. There's a bunt by Pierre. Whoa! Everybody arriving at first base except the baseball. Pierre's going to get a hit. It actually was a creative move by Votto.
Sure did. He threw the ball right behind him, and that would have been a great play at first base. It would have happened. But answering your question about the Yelich coming up, I think, in my opinion, and I said it about 30 days ago, and he was hurt at the time, that was the guy that needed to be back up here. Can you imagine Yelich now with Ozuna and Dietrich and Echevarria, and we're starting to see the combination of the youth and talent that can get this club in the future, winning a lot of ball games. And I think Yelich is going to be the type of hitter that we need right now here for driving in those runs that we haven't been able to do with men in scoring position.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Cookie. And I think it won't be long, and we will see Christian Yelich up here.
I hope so.
Cookie, you ready for Cuban Heritage Night, which is coming up?
Well, yes, sir. I'm going to sing the national anthem.
Oh.
I got you on that one, didn't I?
Hey, I hear Livan Hernandez is going to be out here.
Yeah, he will be. No question.
That's Friday night here at Marlins Park.
We might be able to get a couple of innings out of Livan.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, right.
I'll tell you, he can give you innings. There's no question about that.
I think maybe a couple of hits.
Yes, sir. Tomorrow is going to be a great duel of pitching, and the fans should come over here to see Jose Fernandez, who's pitched very well, and also Leighton's for Equipo de Cincinnati is going to see a great duel of pitching.
And how about the weather we've had?
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Beautiful. You think that by July it will stay the same, you think? Or
I don't think so.
No chance of that. Huh?
We'd be a little sweaty at this point in time if it were July.
That's true.
All right, well, have a good night.
All right,
Thank you, guys.
Glad to have you with us tonight. Hope we'll have you again later on in the year.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Tito and Cookie. Polanco's up. Pierre's at first. Miami searching for his first run here in the bottom of the fifth. Mike Leake.
Yeah, it's amazing. We talk about guys being brought up. Of course, in Leake's case, he came out of college, a little older player, but in his career, he's only pitched 2 games in the minor leagues. And as I like to say, there are exceptions. So everybody doesn't have to go through that same process. There are exceptions.
Of course, what helped Leake certainly was dominating a very good baseball conference, the Pac-12. Roller out towards short. Out there, the turn by Phillips in time. And I think Pierre started towards second, didn't get a clean jump, and then stopped. And so there are 2 outs. Marlins and Diamondbacks on Friday night, and that's Cuban Heritage Night. Get the Sir Pizza 4-pack for just $60. Stay after the game for a fireworks spectacular presented by Chevron and a concert on the West Plaza with Celia Cruz and the All-Stars. Go to Marlins.com for tickets. Cuban Heritage Night, Tommy already has.
Oh, yes, I have my Cuban Heritage Night cafecita. It's a great looking Cuban coffee, maybe an espresso. You could probably get a double in here, too. Double espresso.
Dietrich is up. He's 1 for 2. There's a 2-0 pitch. Dietrich pulls that one foul. Two and 1. Pulls another one foul. All right, this is what Tommy's been talking about.
That's right. See, this is nice little Cuban coffee. Whatever you'd like. You can put a lot of things in here.
Yes, you can. But that's Friday night, Cuban Heritage Night, the giveaway item. Two and 2 to Dietrich.
Former Marlin Cody Ross will be in town with the Diamondbacks.
Can't wait to see Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah, we saw him last year, but he just keeps getting better and better.
Marlins trailed the Diamondbacks through L.A., and Goldschmidt had a great series against the Dodgers. Dietrich watches that one outside. Counts full now, 3 and 2.
It's been a good battle by Derek up there.
Miami has 6 hits. The Reds have 8, but the Reds have 3 runs. Dietrich drives one to left center field, hits it deep. Paul goes back, looking up. That ball is off the warning track and into the Clevelander for a double. And there's some nice opposite field power for Dietrich, who is now 8 for his first 18 in the big leagues. Second round pick.
Well, and he's had 3 consecutive 2-hit games. And you and I, we get a chance to watch batting practice a lot down on the field. And when you stand there and you watch Dietrich hit, you see him hit balls in the second deck up in the home run porch in right field. And surprisingly, he has some power. There's no question about that. That's always something that comes a little later. But he showed that power there with that opposite field two-base hit.
Shortstop at Georgia Tech, the Rays' second-round pick. Marlins, of course, was part of the big Toronto trade. Got him when they sent Yunel Escobar immediately upon the trade over to Tampa Bay. Marcell Ozuna to center, and Chu is there, and he makes the catch. Couple of hits, but no runs to show for the fifth. Jose Fernandez, Coconut Creek's Matt Latos. Latos 4-0. Fernandez, the 20-year-old rookie sensation. And they meet tomorrow night right here on Fox Sports Florida. Marlins Live starts at 6:30. There's your Cody Ross bobblehead.
There he is.
Looks like he signed that one, too. Alex Anabia opens up this sixth inning with a fastball in on the hands of the Reds catcher, Devin Mesoraco, who the Reds hope will be the catcher of the future. He's 24. Puxatawny, Pennsylvania. Always in the news. Right around what?
Groundhog Day.
Late February, early March?
Yeah.
More spring or more winter, or spring has arrived. That's. And if Bill Murray's in town,
Punxsutawney Phil.
There's a strike. Mesoraco was a 15th overall pick back in 2007.
Amazing thing about Sanabia, in the fifth inning, he had his first 1-2-3 inning.
And he busts another bat. It's going to be a tough play. Echeverria, bare hands. Wow, what a quick release. To barehand the ball and then get rid of it that quickly is not easy.
He has been an absolute delight to watch at shortstop. Ball comes up, picks it cleanly, and then his throw is strong. Just one error all season, and he's been smooth.
Leak fouls one off. Oh, 0-1. Leak's 0 for 2. And he drops down a bunt foul. Watching the first couple of innings, you got a sense that Alex Anabia would not be around in the sixth. But the Reds stranded 7 through the first 3. Sanabia needed a double play to clean up the 2-run 4th. And since then, he's got himself in a little bit of a groove.
Yeah, you watch Mike Leake as he gets a little rest, and so does Sanabia on Leake's bunt attempt. But he's going to look like a pitcher. Number one, he's 5'10". He looks like a shortstop.
It does, and he moves like it. You see how quickly he gets off the mound. Terrific athlete.
This would be a nice boost for the bullpen for Sanabia to get through this 6th inning.
Echeverria.
Look at that.
Quick release. And a couple of 6-3s in the books to open the 6th before Shin-Soo Choo arrives. Let's check in with Craig Minervino.
Well, thanks, Rich. We're going to talk about Choo. I talked with manager Dusty Baker today. He said, you know what? Choo has done as well as you can expect. I mean, he's been terrific as the leadoff guy, and he knows the thing about that, calling the number 1 spot in the lineup, one of the keys to the lineup, because last year, Dusty's number 1 guy in the lineup just did not do very well. You see, just 208 a year ago, almost 100 points better. That's 3rd best in Major League Baseball. And if you look back at the slugging and on-base percentage this year for those numbers, number 1 in all of baseball, thanks to Choo. Now, one thing Dusty did say is he didn't know how he would handle center field, but he's getting a lot better at that. And he also said he's a really great guy. He said one day he came to my office, he didn't get a hit for 2 days. He said, sorry, Skip. He said, don't worry about it. You're doing your job, getting on base. One other thing he said, guys, is they're not driving him in enough. The Reds are 2nd in the league in runs, but they lead the league with the most left on base. And one of the guys they've left on base a lot is Choo.
And guys, he's really a unique player in that he didn't play in Korea and come over here. We just saw, of course, in Los Angeles, a guy that had dominated in Korea, Youngjin Ryu. Choo was actually signed by Seattle as a teenager, came over. He was developed in Seattle's organization for 6 years, and then they sent him to Cleveland. And that's where he really blossomed, was in Cleveland.
Well, he's been tearing up all kinds of pitching. 386 against right-handers. And I was just told this is his first ever visit to Miami as well. In the stops in Seattle and Cleveland. Remember, the Marlins played the Indians in Cleveland when we saw Choo.
Choo drives one right field deep. Back goes Ozuna at the wall. Shin-Soo Choo again.
Just call him Babe Choo. Wow.
He is 4 for 4 tonight. He has 12 hits, and this is his 6th game against Miami. 2 homers tonight.
I'm not so sure, Rich, I've ever seen an opposing hitter dominate a team as much as Choo has this year.
He had the big series in Cincinnati. There's a roller up first. Dobbs has it and steps on the bag. And Choo, who last night was 0 for 2, but he was on base 3 times, is 4 for 4 with a couple of homers. Time to get the octopus, maybe run him through the car wash, Tom. He's taken a few headers. Ruggiano takes a strike. Justin Ruggiano's walked and lined out. Greg Dobbs, Adeiny Echeverria. Mike Leake hasn't been dominating, but he's been good enough. He's used that defense behind him. He's rolled a couple of double plays. And he gets Ruggiano for the first out of the 6th. AT&T Uverse poll question. Is Dusty Baker a Hall of Fame manager? Hashtag Dusty yes, hashtag Dusty no. Now, we discussed last night whether a manager needs to have won a World Series to get to the Hall of Fame.
The question would be, we'd have to have a little research on managers in the Hall of Fame. Are there any that have not won a World Series? I believe there might be.
Well, obviously there are players in there that have not won a World Series. There are players in there that never got to a World Series. Just look at any Cub that's
Ernie Banks,
that's in there.
Billy Williams, Fergie Jenkins,
Ryan Sandberg.
Got to the playoffs. Ron Santo.
Thankfully, Ron Santo.
Good to see Dobbs with that base hit back in the 2nd inning, breaking an 0 for 12 that he had been on.
And Dobbs, Votto bobbles, Leak bails him out. Well, Votto's done, and Votto making the sign of traveling in the spirit of the NBA playoffs.
You know, and he's fortunate he has a very athletic pitcher going over there to cover. Yep. He regrouped, and Leak again. Yep, didn't get it the first time, but he kept his concentration, and then actually didn't give Leak a very good throw. Throw kind of leaked on him, but look at it, he stays with it, made the play.
All right, managers in the Hall of Fame: Walter Alston, Sparky Anderson, Leo DeRocher. Some guys that, quite honestly, I'm not all that familiar with. Ned Hanlon.
Yeah, there's some guys that we'd have to check, but I think there are some managers in the Hall. So if you look at it that way, but herein lies the little bit of a dilemma, because in Dusty's time, you're going to have Bobby Cox going in. You're going to have Tony La Russa going in, who I think would be ahead of Dusty.
Jim Leland.
How about Jim Leland?
Earl Weaver's in there. Casey Stengel. Wilbert Robinson. That's from way back, Tom.
That's from way back.
Bill McKechnie, John McGraw, Joe McCarthy, Connie Mack, Al Lopez, Tommy Lasorda. You just got a Tommy Lasorda hug in Los Angeles without pasta sauce on your sport cup.
Celebrating his 63rd wedding anniversary.
And Echeverria goes down on strikes. 4-0 Reds. All-you-can-eat seats are just $27. Enjoy unlimited KM beef franks, peanuts, popcorn, nachos, Pepsis, and water. Stay after the game for a concert with one of Tommy's favorites, Fat Man Scoop, presented by Bacardi. Go to marlins.com for tickets. Here tonight, the Cincinnati Reds continue to flex their National League Central muscles, and Shin-Soo Choo especially. Ryan Webb takes over for Alex Sanabia. Sanabia goes the first 6, and he gives up 4 runs. Choo scored 3 of those 4 runs.
Well, we've talked about Ryan Webb and the way he's been on a nice roll. Right now, 10 1/3 consecutive innings without allowing a base hit. So that's the longest active streak right now. Casey Jansen, Hector Santiago, Kevin Gray. But good stuff by Ryan Webb. He's really, in his outings recently, had a heavy sinker. He's kept it in the strike zone. He's gotten a lot of ground ball outs.
Joey Votto tonight's 1 for 3, an RBI single. And he takes up. Votto's at the point, Tommy, where borderline calls. He's got such a good reputation. Gwynn kind of was there in his career.
Yeah, he's going to get him. Sure. Because he has that reputation. The changeup from Ryan.
Toyota trend, Reds 12-1 in games in which Votto has 2 or more hits. That 1-1 is fouled back to the screen.
Now, in a few more years, we'll be talking Hall of Fame with Joey Votto if he continues on the trend that he's on.
We'll also be talking about an immense fortune that Votto has amassed. Is at the start of a 10-year, $225 million contract. That's a lot of ribs at the Montgomery Inn.
It's a lot of Skyline chili.
Grater's ice cream.
Which you need after you have the Skyline chili. Ooh, look at that.
On cue, our RF cam, which last night was hijacked and taken to Brickell, is back. Votto shuffles his feet. Votto, of course, grew up a Blue Jay fan in Toronto. And one of the guys that we've been talking about, Mike Leake, going straight to the big leagues. Votto spent a long time in the minor leagues. Snakes that one down the line, and he'll settle for a single. Votto spent 6 years in the minor leagues before breaking into the Reds lineup.
Which is very interesting in itself, and just goes to show you the development of young players is different. Everybody's different. He was close to a 290 career hitter in the minor leagues, and that for him is translated to being a better hitter at the major league level.
Votto's at first. Pulled to third. Polanco. Dietrich turns the double play. So Webb, using that sinker, gets a couple outs on one pitch there. Yeah, Brandon Phillips.
That hitless streak was quickly snapped by Joey Votto, but erased on a nice 5-4-3 double play. You know what? If you're an infielder a first baseman or receiving a throw like Dietrich did, you're going to get a perfect throw just about every time from Placido Polanco. He knows how to get to that four-seam grip. The throw is always nice and smooth.
Bruce reaches out, strokes it into center field for a base hit. You know, the other thing Polanco's got going for him when he makes that feed, Tommy, he's been on the other end of it. He's won 2 Gold Gloves as a second baseman, as well as a Gold Glove at third.
Yeah, so he knows exactly what that second baseman wants. A chest-high throw that's not going to move a little bit.
Xavier Paul takes a fastball for a strike. Reds last year did it with a great pitching staff, terrific defense, and they seem to be on that track right now. They've added more offense, certainly, with Shin-Soo Choo at the top of their lineup.
There's no question. Last year, Dusty Baker, and we've talked about it, only had to use, they were the only team that used 5 starters. And he's got a solid rotation this year. And an outstanding closer in Aroldis Chapman. He's got power. He's got on-base guys. And he's got a terrific defense.
He's got a great back of the bullpen, too, Aroldis Chapman. Reds bullpen ERA last year was the best in all of baseball, in all of the land. Little tapper, and it trickles in front of the plate. Brantley gladly picks it up and throws him out. Ryan Webb works a scoreless 7th inning stretch. Marlins in search of runs. It's been the Shin-Soo Choo show offensively for the Reds. A lot of nice defense played behind Mike Leake. And as a result, Cincinnati, looking for its 5th straight win, has a 4-0 lead in Miami tonight. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton, Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine. That last duo will be by with Marlins Live. Rob Brantley is at the plate right now. Pitcher spot. Chris Coghlan on deck, and then Juan Pierre. Derek Robinson, Gainesville native, into the ball game.
Comes into left field for Paul.
The Reds, of course, last night had their starter go the distance. Homer Bailey was outstanding, struck out 10 in a complete game win. Brantley dumps another one into left field. He's found a couple of hits out and left.
All of a sudden, Brantley, with his base hit back in the 4th inning, a 4-game hitting streak, starting to put together some consistent swings. And that's one thing. And the next thing, you like those consistent swings to translate into base hits. And a couple of them tonight.
So Brantley a hit. Coghlan now, who has swung the bat with some authority in the last couple of weeks off the bench. And he smacks that one into right field. Brantley around second, on his way to third. And then he stops and comes back, and he gets back. Wow, he took an aggressive turn, and it must have been a last-minute peek up at the third base coach, Joe Espada. Let's take a look.
Well, Chris Coghlan continues to come off the bench and get some nice pinch hits. Bruce has a strong arm. Head is down, and then once he raises the head, he sees the stop sign by Joe Espada. And when you're down 4-0, this juncture of the game, you don't want to take any chances, especially with the top of the order coming up. For Chris Coghlan now, he has 6 pinch hits. He's 6 for 18 off the bench.
One of the things, and you would attest to this as a pinch hitter yourself, I think one of the things we've seen in Coghlan is much more aggressive swings early in counts.
Yeah, when he's playing every day, he's the kind of hitter who works the count, sees a lot of pitches. But I think sometimes pinch hitting, you have to turn things around a little and be a little more aggressive. And he's been that, and he's gotten some base hits.
Sam LeCure, Sean Marshall. And so Miami with Pierre up, Polanco on deck. Now here's the point where Mike Leake has been able to get double play balls. One in the 2nd, one in the 5th.
You know, last night when Homer Bailey went out there to pitch the 9th inning, he wanted the complete game. But Dusty Baker said, if anybody gets on, you're out of there. And he worked, and he got the 3 hitters he faced, Ruggiano, Dobbs, and Ozuna.
And you could see the relief on Bailey's face when he got that last out without having anybody get on.
Yeah, because he knew that. He knew that if somebody got on, he was coming out.
Pierre tonight, a bunt single and a couple of ground ball outs. You got such a good infield out there. Izturis has won a Gold Glove. Phillips, of course, has 3. Votto's won a Gold Glove. Hanahan is known for his defense at third. That if you're Leake, you're just hoping Pierre slaps one on the ground.
And if you're the Reds infield defense, you tell yourself you just want to make sure you get one, because Juan Pierre's tough to double up.
Now the Reds didn't win a Gold Glove last year, which is surprising because of all the guys that have them. But they had 6 guys who were Gold Glove finalists. Votto, Phillips, Zach Cozart was a Gold Glove finalist at short. Diving back in is Brantley. Stubbs, who's gone, was a finalist. Jay Bruce in right field was a finalist. Remember, the last few years the Gold Gloves have gone to where the fielding Bibles started, and that is giving a Gold Glove to an outfield position, a center fielder, left fielder, and right fielder.
Because at one time you could have 3 Gold Glove winners and they were all center fielders.
Yeah, and that happened a lot. Here's the 1-2. It's up. Last year, Andrew McCutchen in center won his first. Jason Hayward in right won his first. And Cargo, Carlos Gonzalez, won his second. Fielding Bible, guys, was American League in left with Alex Gordon of Kansas City, Mike Trout in center, and Hayward from Atlanta in right. 2-2. That's out. Good at bat by Pierre. He's run the count full at 3-2. The Reds bullpen, as we showed you,
I think they're ready, and I don't think Dusty Baker would waste any time to go to that bullpen. Leak right now not as sharp as he's been.
Leak ready. Pierre waits. 3-2 coming. Got him. Looked like the cutter that came back. He's been able to throw that with effectiveness to left-handed hitters.
Well, and that's huge for them because you don't expect Juan Pierre, who doesn't strike out a whole lot, to strike out in that situation. You're hoping and you're figuring he's going to put the ball in play, and for JP, that's the 15th time that he struck out this year.
Now Polanco. Polanco. An infield hit back in the third. And it's been a struggle for Polanco at times this year. Just 5 extra base hits. All doubles. A little flare into right. Phillips is out, and he makes the catch. And so the Marlins, who go first and second and nobody out, quickly go to first and second and 2 outs.
And here comes Dusty. He wants to get a matchup in his favor. He knows that Dietrich's a left-handed bat. So you would assume with Dusty going out there, he's going to make the move. There he is. Give me the lefty.
We'll step aside with the Reds up 4-0. Summary brought to you by Auto Nation.
Well, I'll tell you what, early on it was Brandon Phillips with a double that drove home a run and got the Reds immediately on the scoreboard in the first inning. Then they just kind of turned things over to Shin-Soo Choo. Opposite field home run. Keep his name in mind. That was his 8th home run of the year. Joey Votto bangs a base hit in the left field. He picks up an RBI, but you can't get away from Choo. In the 6th inning, he goes the other way. Home run number 9 on the year. His 9th career multi-homer game. And tonight with 4 hits so far, it's been the Shin-Soo Choo
game for Dusty Baker.
Sean Marshall, lanky lefty, former Cub, slender ERA, and his 8th appearance.
Can be a little tough on lefties. He's got that big sweeping breaking ball that he likes to use.
So this will be a challenge for the rookie, 23-year-old out of Georgia Tech, Derek Dietrich. 2 more hits for Dietrich tonight. 4 hits in this series. Coughlin and Rob Brantley open the inning with hits. Breaking ball, Dietrich takes away.
Remember last year, at one time, Marshall was closing, saving games. Had 9 saves last year.
One nice thing about a guy like Dietrich is that obviously at Georgia Tech and coming up in the minors with the Rays and even the short time with the Marlins, he's faced lefties. Though he pops that one up, Votto doesn't have room. So it's not like Dietrich's up there and he hasn't seen a lefty in a while.
He hasn't gotten to that point, and he certainly hopes that he never does. Gets to that point where he's in a platoon role. So you're right. Yeah, he's seen some lefties.
Well, he did the best job of really verbalizing the attitude you have to have as a rookie in San Diego when he said, my goal was to get to the big leagues, and now that I'm here, my goal is to stay here and make a career out of it. One. And it scoots away and rolls away from the catcher. Miami moves everybody up 90 feet. Brantley and Coughlin. And it counts 2-1 to Dietrich. Mesoraco, and then it ping-ponged off the foot of Todd Titchener, the home plate umpire. Watch the carom.
Yeah, you're not sure what direction that ball's going to go.
It counts 2-1 now. And this is in. So often, guys are just so happy to get to the big leagues that you hear the veteran players, and it's a saying that's well known around the big leagues. It's tougher to stay here than to get here. To get here, you have to produce in the minor leagues. To stay here, you have to produce in the major leagues. And that's the difference.
And certainly he learned a lot of that from his grandfather, who had a terrific, I mean sensational minor league career. 272 home runs in the minor leagues.
Breaking ball, Marshall gets the strikeout, and Dietrich swings and misses. Miami leaves 2 more out there. here at Marlins Park. And for the Fish, a recurring theme, and that is a lack of runs. Mike Leake has a lot to do with that. Sean Marshall helping out. Chad Qualls will take the baton from Ryan Webb. Alex Sanabia went 6 innings, and I think went a lot longer than it initially looked like he could last after a start in the first 4 innings, which he threw a lot of pitches. Chevron presents tomorrow's starting pitchers. Matt Latos, Jose Fernandez. Look at Latos at 4-0, Fernandez at 2-2.
Yeah, a lot of friends and family. Latos at Coconut Creek, and he is off to a nice start, solid 4-0 start, first 8 starts, and we get a chance, which is always exciting, to watch Jose Fernandez, who now has put together 2 back-to-back really good starts.
Hanahan. And Qualls throws a strike. Hanahan, Mesoraco. And the pitcher's spot in baseball tonight. Boston continues to play well against the Rays, that is. 8-2. An 8-2 lead in St. Pete. Pittsburgh has a 2-1 lead over Milwaukee. Seattle in New York has a 12-2 lead over the Yankees. Toronto is beating up the Giants 11-1 in Toronto in the 7th.
I think Seattle got 7 runs in the first inning off Phil Hughes.
Raul Ibanez has homered twice. Kyle Seager has homered for Seattle. JP Arancibia and Adam Lind have homered in that Toronto Giants game.
Toronto's offense all of a sudden coming alive. They got a win last night. R.A. Dickey picking up a win.
Two. Pitch in the dirt. Qualls, one of the Southern California Marlins, enjoying the tour from San Diego to Los Angeles. Well, for the Marlins, San Diego not all that hospitable, and certainly Dodger Stadium, where the Fish dropped 2 of 3. Echeverria on to first in time. An out here in the 8th. MLB.com at bat, #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry 10. At bat delivers Marlins baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text at bat to 31826 or go to Marlins.com for details.
Yeah, Chad Qualls had his mom in town for Mother's Day in Los Angeles.
This is our office.
He's everywhere.
This is our office. iPads out, iPhones out, scorebook's open.
See, we actually do have work and do our homework up here.
This is the Reds cheat sheet. There you go.
See, and this is mine. So we have all kinds of stuff.
But Tommy has multiple pages. Mine is just one page.
Yeah, and mine's not laminated because I don't know how to do that.
On to first in time. Polanco making the play.
Do you see somebody in a bar watching that? With no sound? What's going on?
Donald Lutz, the big Reds outfielder we talked about, raised in Germany. And Lutz in the absence of Chris Heisey, has been up and seen some time in the Reds outfield.
Yeah, he got a chance when Heisey went on the disabled list.
To first, and Qualls just gets there in time to get Lutz. Bottom of the 8th coming up, 4-0. In the bottom of the 8th on top of the Marlins. Frustrating night for the Fish. They have been shut out by Mike Leake with a little help from Sean Marshall. And now the parade out of the bullpen for the Reds. It's a very good bullpen. Continues.
Yeah, now they'll have to deal with the right-hander, Sam LeCure, and a couple more innings. The Marlins in jeopardy of being shut out for the 7th time this year. Right now they're tied with Atlanta. Believe it or not, Atlanta's been shut out 6 times. So there's another part of that bullpen, and for LeCure, good start to this season. One of those relievers that you like to have. He's not a 2-pitch guy. He can come in and he uses all 4 of his pitches.
Marcell Ozuna, Justin Ruggiano, Greg Dobbs. Ozuna, an infield hit. Leake delivered the game all the way till 2 outs in the 7th. Marshall struck out Dietrich. And so Leake is in line for win number 3 unless Miami is able to come back. And LeCure misses the count. Now 2-1. Ozuna lifts one down the line. Bruce. And it's foul. And it's out of play. Arizona beat Atlanta 5-3. Texas was in Oakland and beat the A's this afternoon 6-2. The Rangers have improved to 26 and 14. And of course, in that American League West, the Angels have scuffled to a 15 and 24 start. The Astros, of course, have really struggled. They're at 11 and 30. The Marlins, if they lose this ball game, will just be a half game worse at 11 and 29.
Yeah, the Angels 10.5 games behind Texas right now.
And a strike to Ozuna. After the ball game, Marlins Live presented by Checkers. No one manning their station yet, but soon Craig Minervini and Jeff Conine will be there. Not only to talk about this one, to set up tomorrow night's matchup between hard throwers Matt Latos and Jose Fernandez.
You know, a little light at the end of the tunnel last night for the Angels. They beat Kansas City 6-2. And they got home runs from their big three guys: Pujols, Josh Hamilton homered, and Mike Trout.
By the way, Houston did beat Detroit 7-5. First win in Detroit since 2000, but of course Houston's been in the National League, so it's a little bit deceiving.
Yeah, there'll be some numbers like that about the Astros this year that kind of won't make sense.
J.D. Martinez, home run.
Always good when the local guys do well.
Ruggiano up there with the count 1-1. I know we touched upon it, but speaking of a local guy doing well, congratulations to Anthony Rizzo for a nice contract. Rizzo's batting average is up to 273. He's having a fine season. He had the power numbers when he was through here. 9 homers. He's driven in 28. $41 million deal.
Well, congrats to him and his family. That's always just a nice, secure feeling. I heard him interviewed the other day, and that's kind of what he said. Now he can just relax, concentrate on playing baseball. He doesn't have to worry about any of that other stuff.
And LeCure strikes out Ruggiano. So the bullpen for the Reds has struck out all 3 that they've faced. Marshall got Dietrich. LeCure gets Ozuna and Ruggiano.
That's just a good fastball that he spots away and gets Ruggiano chasing.
And here is Dobbs. LeCure sounds like a guy from an old Western. And he has that look with the mustache and such. And would figure that he was born in Jefferson City, Missouri, and then makes his home in Austin, Texas. Dobbs a 1-for-3 night. That's going to find the seats.
One of those 4 pitches that LeCure features. That was a pretty good changeup.
One. Dobbs fouls it back to the screen. The Phillies and the Indians today. The Cleveland Indians very quietly have improved to 5 over, 22-17.
How about Cole Hamels' record now?
Yeah, the Phillies have been playing a little better of late. Hamels is 1-6 with a 10-4 Cleveland win today.
And let's see, today's Wednesday, so that would have Hamels on track to pitch Monday, maybe Tuesday, depending on any off days they may have.
Well, as the Marlins are hopeful that in that series they don't run into Jonathan Pettibone, who's now 3-0.
Or Kyle Kendrick.
That's right. Kendrick has the great track record against the Marlins, and Pettibone, a young starter, the right-hander that the Marlins saw and lost to up in Philly. It's that weird series. The Marlins lost to Kendrick and Pettibone, but ended up beating Hamels and Halladay. Halladay, of course, since then, disabled list, underwent surgery. Liner into left center field. Dobbs has got another hit. And so Greg Dobbs
Well, we've seen a little vintage Greg Dobbs tonight, and that's nice to see for him because he's had some struggles.
Tonight's Cold Hard Fact brought to you by Frostbrewed Coors Light. 4 triples for Adeiny Echeverria. He has more triples than 6 major league teams. And the Ramirez had 11 in 2006. It's one of those nights where you could say, the Marlins have had missed opportunities, but for the Marlins, a lot of times their base runners have come late in innings where there's already a couple of outs.
They've stranded 9.
And I think when you have a slugging percentage as low as the Marlins, it is the lowest in baseball. The issue is when you do get a hit, it doesn't do all that much damage. Marlins slugging at just .321. Snap throw. Dobbs gets back in.
Yeah, congrats to the Miami Heat winning that series, beating the Bulls tonight, so they'll move on.
The Reds, as a contrast, are slugging at .390. Echeverria, couple of hops. Hanahan, catch and tag by Votto. And the Marlins are done in the 8th. Win. Sam LeCure and his bunch took 3 of 4 from Miami in Cincinnati earlier this year. And tonight, the Reds, terrific pitching. Nick Green ends up at first base in this double switch with Mike Dunn arriving out of the bullpen.
Now that he's a seasoned first baseman, Nick Green. That's the one frustrating thing. We saw the good numbers on Ryan Webb. Qualls has done a nice job. And Mike Dunn has had super numbers out of the bullpen.
AT&T Uverse rewind. Shin Soo Choo to left field to the Clevelander. He used to play in Cleveland. To right field. Both those home runs coming off of Alex CIN AT MIA. Not a bad night for Shin Soo Choo, just 4 for 4 with 3 runs scored and 2 homers. And the on-base leader in the National League, probably shooting himself back into the top 10 in slugging percentage with a pair of home runs tonight.
Helping that on-base percentage, which he already leads the league in.
Been hit a dozen times. And Dunn fires a strike. Chu is Turris, Votto in the ninth.
And as we mentioned, making his first ever visit to Miami. And enjoying it quite a lot.
Dunn's got him 0-2. Well, tomorrow night's matchup is Matt Latos, Jose Fernandez. Latos, of course, emerging with the Padres, involved in a big trade. The Reds getting him last year. Fernandez arriving on the scene ahead of schedule, many felt, but proving that he belongs in the big leagues with his start so far. And Chu strikes out. That's breaking news.
Get the game ball. Get that ball to Mike Dunn.
Coming out of Miami.
He threw some good stuff to Chu, too. Have you ever watched Jose Fernandez in the batting cage?
Oh, yeah.
When we've been down there, he has a ball in there.
I'll tell you.
It gets his work done, though.
Well, here's the story on that. Most starting pitchers, the vast majority in the major leagues, their routine is to hit the day before their start. They get in a regular hitting group. Day before they start, they hit. But when Fernandez made his first start here, he was not in the hitting group before the game. He was actually in the cages, the indoor cages, and spent like half an hour hitting in the cage. And everybody saw that. And here's Fernandez.
I love his aggressive swings, too.
And so.
And hits him out.
Mike Redmond has, just because they knew he was going to try to hit anyways, regardless of whether he was starting or not, they've included him in the game day hitting rotation. So he's been hitting in the rotation the day of game. And the feeling is, well, I mean, if he's going to do it in the cage, you might as well come out and do it on the field.
Yeah, Kevin Slowey was in awe of Fernandez's power in the day.
That one's off the foot of his Turris, the switch hitting shortstop. Now, on the other hand, you've got Latos, who in his 8 starts has won 4 of them.
And has 4 hits this year and 3 career home runs. So Matt Latos, kind of an all or nothing. His average isn't that high, but has 3 career home runs.
We'll hear from Jose Fernandez on Marlins Live postgame tonight, and then from Matt Latos on Marlins Live pregame tomorrow. Ball and 2 strikes, and an out in the ninth. Reds are headed up to Philly for the weekend and then to New York. And Dunn has a pair of strikeouts here in the 9th inning. that Phillies game, a final. West Coast games about to come online. Washington in Los Angeles to take on the Dodgers.
How about Zach Greinke making the start for the Dodgers tonight?
Ross Detweiler goes for Washington. Kansas City is in Anaheim to take on the Los Angeles Angels. Kansas City actually comes in 2 over. The Marlins do go to Kansas City this year. Cardinals have scored first at home against the Mets. That's in the 5th inning, 2-0. St. Louis on top. John Jay with an RBI double. Former Miami Hurricane. Phillies lost to Cleveland 10-4. Braves lost to Arizona 5-3. The Pirates continue to go further above the 500 mark. They lead Milwaukee 3-1 right now, and it's the 9th inning, which means Jason Grilli is in as he tries to shut the door on the Brewers, who are 5 under. That's in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Grilli with 15 saves.
Look at the last pitch. Now on the black. Todd Titchener hasn't missed much behind the plate tonight. Dunn's 3-2 to Votto. Votto a couple hits in this ball game. 5 hits in the series. Votto this year, we've talked about the damage Chu has done to the Marlins. Votto's not far behind. Votto has 13 hits in 25 at bats. 2 homers, 5 RBIs.
Talking about Grilli with 15 saves, are you surprised that the leader in the American League is Mariano Rivera with 16?
Everybody in the East seems to be clicking, although Boston had lost 3 in a row before their win over the Rays today. The Rays had won 6 straight going into that matchup. Everybody but Toronto is over 500. Dunn again trying to get that outside corner, and he walks Votto. And that one was off.
Number 8. Yeah, Niner was talking about Joey Votto on Marlins Live, and it's so true. You don't see him get fooled, chase pitches way out of the zone. Every time he takes a pitch, he's right there. He's right on it. He knows if it's a strike or if it's a ball.
Phillips hits a high pop-up. Dietrich. And that swirling wind up there took a right turn on him, but he makes the catch. Marlins need some runs, and they need them quickly. Baseball, brought to you by 1-800-NEED-HELP. Accident, crash, slip, or fall. One call. That's all. And by the University of Southernmost Florida. And by OMG Fast. For high-speed home internet, it's OMG Fast. 4-0. Reds on top. It's the bottom of the ninth. Aroldis Chapman into the ball game. And of course, Chapman out of Cuba and out of the bullpen, he's been dominant.
Yeah, you see those numbers, they tell a little bit of the story. But in 17 innings, he has struck out 26. And opposing batters are hitting 167 against Aroldis Chapman.
Miguel Olivo. And then you've got Nick Green, who's in the 9 spot. And then Juan Pierre is scheduled. Just the average 98-mile-an-hour fastball right out of the bullpen.
Yeah, nice and free and easy. Didn't try to overthrow too much. I think when he first arrived on the scene, he got a little caught up in the radar gun touching triple digits.
Chapman, an all-star last year, 68 appearances. He actually blew 5 saves in 43 opportunities. He did not become the closer until late May last year.
That was when Sean Marshall was closing games.
And remember, Ryan Madsen was supposed to be the guy going into last season.
Actually, earlier this year, the game that the Marlins won in Cincinnati, it was Ruggiano's home run off Chapman. That was the game winner.
Chapman misses away, and Olivo trots down to first. So Aroldis Chapman walks Olivo. AT&T U-verse poll question tonight is Dusty Baker Hall of Fame manager? Hashtag Dusty yes. So Dusty's got 75% of the vote.
I like that yes. I like that answer.
All precincts reporting. So I think Fox Sports Florida feels comfortable projecting Dusty Baker as the winner here in the state of Florida tonight. Strike to Green. Marlins scuffling to score runs. It's been a theme from the very start. Last night, 2 runs on 6 hits. Tonight, 10 hits, but they've left 10, and now they're faced with the left-handed heat from Aroldis Chapman. The Reds bullpen last year dominant, best in baseball with the lowest ERA, 2.65. Oh-2.
If you were going to compare
100 miles an hour.
If you were going to compare the Reds and the Cardinals right now, Cardinals certainly terrific offense, very solid. Starting rotation, very good. But I think the edge you would give in the bullpen to the Reds. Mike Matheny trying to mix and match that Cardinal bullpen right now. Edward Mujica is their closer.
They've had a couple devastating injuries, rotation and bullpen, and they just keep on clicking. And Green takes a called third strike that pops out of the glove of Mesoraco for strike 3 and the first out for Chapman. Another 100-mile-an-hour fastball, and it's on the black. And so Todd Titchener, the home plate umpire, was right on it. I mean, it's tough to hit. It's got to be tough to call as well.
You know, guys will joke around. They'll say, yeah, 100 on the black. Well, that was 100 miles an hour on the black.
Titcher's had a good night tonight. Diaz now will climb in. He'll pinch hit for Pierre. When the Marlins saw Chapman earlier this year. He was not throwing this hard. He was living about 96, 97. And here tonight, he's at 99 and 100. There's 96 for a strike. Diaz didn't like it, and it's 1-1. The Reds are rolling right now. They've won 8 of 10, 4 in a row. They can get to 24 and 16 with a win here.
It's a challenge for anybody coming off the bench to jump in there against Chapman.
Diaz, who had a week of hard hit balls that were outs, lines one into center field, and that one falls. I mean, there were 2 or 3 spectacular plays in Los Angeles, and they were all on Diaz line drives.
Yeah, Ethier made a diving catch. He actually told me a story earlier tonight that I forget what team he was on at the time, but he was really under the weather, not feeling good. He was laying in the clubhouse, had a fever, and he had to come up and face Chapman. And he got a hit off him.
Well, he has a hit here, and now it's Polanco, who is 1 for 3. You've got the rookie, a left-handed bat, Derek Dietrich, on deck. And Chapman tries to bend one in there for a strike. And it's 1-0 to Placido Polanco. Well, the hope for the Marlins certainly is to, at the very least, get the tying run to the plate. Remember the Ruggiano home run. It was not a save situation. It was a tie game at the time when Chapman was in Cincinnati. Well, Ruggiano is 3 hitters away. You've got Dietrich, then Ozuna, and then Ruggiano. Well, here's what the Marlins would like to see, the matchup they would like.
There was that fastball out over the plate. Good extension by Ruggiano. He likes pitches right there.
That was a cold, cold night in Cincinnati. 2-0 pitch. Fastball popped up on a 2-0 pitch. Phillips makes the catch. And so the Marlins' ninth rests in the hands of Derek Dietrich. Dietrich tonight, 2 hits and 2 strikeouts. There's a lot of firsts for a rookie in Major League Baseball. And this may be the first 100-mile-an-hour fastball that Dietrich has ever faced.
There it is. He fouled it off. He was a little late on it, but as to be expected. Of course, there are some guys in the minor leagues that may be touching 95, 96 under bad lighting. And that might appear to be 100.
Well, without as good a control as well. One foul back and out of play.
And another 100-mile-an-hour fastball. See, now what's not fair is if he drops a breaking ball, tries that pitch.
Well, he's thrown it in this inning, but he didn't throw it for a strike. Everything else has been heat. He stays with the fastball, 102 miles an hour.
Oh, my.
So he's rearing back and just bringing it.
Well, there was a lot of talk in spring training. There were 2 factions with the Reds. One side wanted him as a starter, but Chapman himself prefers closing. And I think Dusty Baker was on that closing side, too.
He's trying to close out Miami tonight. Last one was 102. This one 101. And the rookie, Derek Dietrich, is hanging in there.
Yeah, even though this is not a save situation, Chapman is bringing it.
It's outside.
He went with the breaking ball.
I know Chapman, when he got to the big leagues, threw triple digits. But Brian Price, the pitching coach for the Reds, has done a nice job refining this lefty and making him the closer that he is. 1-2 in the dirt. Good take by Dietrich.
Good take because he's tried 2 breaking pitches.
The count now is 2-2.
All right, here comes the heat again now. He's not going to throw 3 breaking balls in a row.
Dietrich's first week in the big leagues. Second round pick of the Devil Rays. Miami got him in that Toronto trade. They flipped Yunel Escobar and got Dietrich for the Rays. The 2-2. And Dietrich has really impressed with his plate discipline, his poise. He is 8 for his first 19 in the big leagues.
I'll tell you what, if we hadn't even seen him go 8 for 19, this in itself is an impressive at bat.
Another 2-2 coming from Aroldis Chapman. Fastball broke his bat, and this one ends up over the dugout. With the injury to Donovan Solano, heck, all the injuries Miami has suffered, Dietrich a quick call to the big leagues. His arrival in the big leagues, of course, the stuff of legend, so to speak, in that, I mean, here's a guy that played a game in Double-A Jacksonville, and at 1:40 in the morning, got a phone call that said, hey, you're going to the big leagues and you're starting tomorrow. Game time is 12:40 in San Diego. And so obviously he couldn't sleep. Got on the plane, made his connections, and got to the ballpark and singled in his first at bat. And now he's battling Chapman, who keeps blowing triple-digit heat at him.
Next pitch coming will be number 10 in this at bat.
Here's your Fox tracks. Average pitch speed in this AB. Now, he has thrown a couple breaking balls.
Yeah, those are the 2 way out of the strike zone.
And Dietrich obviously took those. But everything else is up and in. Pair of runners on. Another 2-2. Breaking ball struck him out. And Chapman, this time, found the plate with the off-speed pitch. And down goes Dietrich. The Reds stay hot. Shin-Soo Choo out of his mind tonight. 4 for 4 with 2 homers. And the Reds take Miami again. Chapman finishes. Mike Leake gets the win. And a 4-0 final for Cincinnati.